Hello everyone. Today's video is a little different because I will be doing the unpopular opinion book tag, which has been around for a few years, and I saw it and I just can't help myself. This is one of the first tags where I really am going to get into the nitty-gritty, as you might say, of why I don't like certain books or series that are really popular. I usually don't review very popular books anyway, so this is going to be an experience. And I'm probably going to offend a lot of people, but these are just opinions, they're not fact, so there's a difference between a fact and an opinion, and I'm just voicing my unpopular bookish opinions in this video. And number one, a popular book or series that you didn't like. We're going straight into this because I used to be a fan of the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon, and now I can't. The last few books of the Outlander series needs some heavy editing. You could cut out like half of the pages in the last 3 books and it wouldn't affect what was going on, because there's so much filler scenes that I personally don't understand how that went through. Probably because it's so popular and has a TV show. The editors are just like, yeah, go on, Diana. It doesn't matter how many filler scenes and dialogue there is. Just have at it, because you're making us millions. And she is. But for a reader that started out actually in high school, because I found the series on my grandmother's bookshelf, I didn't fully pay attention. I only started seeing how problematic it was by my 20s, which I'm in my mid-20s, but in my early 20s, I got past the Fiery Cross, which is so horrible. It's known in the Outlander community as a difficult book. I nearly gave up. I wanted to skip that book. It took a year. But everyone said keep pushing through. And then when you got to after that book, too much filler. And then talking to other people, you see the issues in the previous books, like, for example, and this is going to be a huge problem, and it's going to be spoilers, so I'm just letting you know there's huge spoilers coming up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's so much sexual violence in the Outlander series that pretty much all of the Frasers are sexually assaulted in some way or another, including their adopted son, who was assaulted when he was a child. And the response to this is pretty much, since I was really ingrained in the Outlander fan base for a very long time on Facebook, in Facebook groups, and I'm talking not just one group, I'm talking like 5 Outlander centered groups that were very active, or still very active. I'm not on Facebook. That this is justified because of historical accuracy. And that's where I have a problem. Really, you're gonna say historical accuracy for the heavy influence of sexual violence against the Frasers? So I have a huge problem with this, because it's a plot device. It's not historical accuracy. Sorry, it's not. When nearly every single man and woman in the Fraser family is assaulted in some way or another, it's not historical accuracy, it's a plot device. As a high schooler, I didn't see it in my early 20s, and people kept bringing it up as a historical historically accurate portrayal of the 1700s, I started to see the issue, and it's a glaring issue in the books. But in the TV show, they actually take out the problematic issues of, like, Jamie, spoiler alert, raping Geneva, yeah, Jamie blaming Claire for her lower dress when they're in France. He says to, I'm not quoting, so I'm paraphrasing, that when she walks down the stairs that she's pretty much asking to be raped, and then something happens to her later in the pages and he blames her pretty much. And this is in the second book. People call him the King of Men, but he is not. Jamie Fraser is not the King of Men. I don't want to be near him. He murders people. He raped Geneva. He, in the beginning, and people say, oh, because he was in his 20s, made horrible comments about rape in France towards Claire. And then in the first book, he comes out of battle and wants to have sex with her, and Claire doesn't really want to, and she gets like, okay, after a while she gets into it, because he wouldn't leave her alone. So it's not even just the Frasers that are being assaulted, it's like Jamie's doing it. It's a problem. I don't want to have anything to do with the Outlander series anymore. And in a way, the fans bringing them up and justifying, especially the Geneva Jamie problem, they don't see it as a problem, actually, which is bizarre. Shed light on how many issues the Outlander series has. I have been very turned off from the Outlander series because of the fans justifying this as historical accuracy, and even thinking that it's not, in some instances, that it's not assault. No matter if it's Jamie or some other character, because, oh, they're just men being men. Yeah, okay, no, sorry. That's not how that flies. No. Men are not animals. They can control themselves even in the 1700s. Sorry, not sorry. And there were other problematic stuff, not just about the sexual violence in these series, but that's the main concern for me. Number 2, a popular book series or author that everyone else seems to hate but you love. Now, I am noticing this the past few years, that people are hating on William Shakespeare, and I don't understand why. Maybe because they're being forced to read him in school and it's not fun. And I can totally understand that part, but there are people that are saying that he's a horrible writer. He's a horrible writer? I don't... How are you getting that? Maybe because you can't understand him? I don't know, but if you don't understand something, that doesn't mean that the writer is horrible at writing. He's stuck around for so long because he has created so many words that we use in the English language, and he's one of the few geniuses in literature. And you can say, oh, it's not literature because he's a playwright. I'm going to count him as literature because for the most part we read him now, which is a problem because you should read and watch his plays. Even if they're in movie form, you should do both to better understand Shakespeare. But he is using words to capture scenes and emotions and characters on a page. That's why I count him as literature. I think starting out with like the popular plays and watching their movies would probably be a good idea for someone that's just being introduced to Shakespeare or has an indifferent feeling towards him. Number 3, a love triangle where the MC ended up with the person you didn't want them to end up with, or an OTP you don't like. This is from the Throne of Glass series. I don't like Selena and Kale the Lettuce Man. I give him that name because I can't stand Kale, and I pronounce his name as Kale. I actually love Kale. I don't love this Kale. He's so annoying, and he's just kind of full of himself. I get the feeling a weird obsession with Selena even after they break up and she moves on. I just don't like him, and I don't like him with Selena. He knows what she is, but he has a problem with it, but they still, you know, go together, and then he keeps having a problem with her, and then they break up, and then he has a problem with her finding her mate, but it's like, well, you knew that she was an assassin to begin with, so if you have such a moral problem with that, why did you start something? Okay. That's where it comes out to be, well, you started something, but you didn't like what she is in the first place. I don't feel bad when she grows up, comes into herself as not Selena, and moves on. He doesn't seem to know or understand about that concept. And he just kind of is a little grump the whole time. And maybe he changes in his book. Well, I will see in the last book of the series, because I'm not gonna buy his book. Number 4, a popular genre that you hardly read. I just don't read mystery and crime. I grew up watching CSI and NCIS, and it's not interesting to me anymore, basically. 5, a popular or beloved character that I don't like, which would be Alice from Twilight. I think she's boring, and a little annoying. I can't really come up with anything great to say about her other than she was really supportive and kind to Bella, and that's all I got. Number 6, a popular author you just can't get into. I tried to get into Victoria Avard. Her books read more like a screenplay, and then I read up on her, and she went to school for screenplay writing. I'm sure there's a term for that. I don't know it, so I just sounded really dumb right there. I'm sorry. And I want to read a book, not a screenplay of a book, if you get what I'm saying. I gave Roy the other books, and I gave them a low. I gave him a low rating on Goodreads. The first book I gave a low 4, I think, but that's just me in general interested in dystopian societies before they crumble. I don't know why, I just find it interesting. Number 7, a popular book trope that you're tired of seeing. I'm actually extremely annoyed at the clumsy female warrior that all the boys love. So she trips over nothing, but then she can cut someone's head off. That's not accurate. And all the boys love her because she's clumsy, but like she can cut off someone's head and kill like hundreds of people on the battlefield as she's tripping over her own toes. Oh my god, I'm so amazing. I'm just like clumsy, and I'm also shy, by the way. And all the boys love me, but it doesn't make sense, because if you're clumsy, how can you be a great female warrior? How can you be a warrior in general if you don't know your left foot from your right foot? I hate when people do this. You need to research combat before you write about it. Number 8, a popular series you're not interested in reading. And that would be, for me, the Divergent series by Veronica Roth. I pretty much know everything that's happened because it's all spoiled for me, either through BookTube or Twitter or the movies. I watched the first movie and I just didn't understand the appeal. And I know what happens in the last books, and because people were so upset about it, I was like, oh, okay. I think it's realistic because not everyone can survive such a transition, especially in a revolution. So I know what happens and it's fine. I don't need to read it. Lastly, the saying goes that the book is always better than the movie, but what movie or TV series adaptation do you prefer more than the book? And I'm going with the Lord of the Rings trilogy. What happened? The writing is absolutely atrocious. The Hobbit is above average writing, and I got through it, and it was enjoyable. What happened? What happened, Tolkien? Oh, God, that was horrible writing. I couldn't. Reading the other two books. I don't have time for that. I want to enjoy what I'm reading and not slug through and want to cry because the writing is so... I didn't know it was that bad. People were telling me throughout the years that the Lord of the Rings trilogy is really hard to get through. I thought maybe because it was dense, and that was it. And it was also written a while ago, so the wording might not work with 21st century readers. That's what I thought. Oh, no, it's just because it's really dense, the writing is horrible, the descriptions are bad, there's a lot, it goes back and forth between showing and telling, and telling and showing. I don't need so much description about mountains, okay? I don't. I know that you're world building, but do you need a world build about a mountain or a field? Or a town? I don't know. I don't think so. You can get it by like one page, not all of the pages that he took up about things that aren't important, in my opinion. I definitely love the movies, and I was actually obsessed with the movies for a good 6 years. And I still love the movies, and I will always prefer the movies over the book. Thank you so much for watching all of my unpopular opinions about books. If you liked what you just saw, give it a like, subscribe and share, and comment with your thoughts below. And if you want to follow me on all of my social medias, or just one or two, and you want to read my poetry or novels on Wattpad, all of that information is in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great reading day. Bye!